It's Tuesday, May the 26th, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, the Vatican delivers a sweeping moral framework for the age of artificial intelligence. Anthropic ships the enterprise security primitives that big companies have been waiting for. And a startup with literally zero employees just raised $30 million. Let's get into it.
Pope Leo XIV released his first encyclical on Monday, titled Magnifica Humanitas, or Magnificent Humanity. The document is a sweeping manifesto on safeguarding the human person in the time of artificial intelligence. The Pope called for robust regulation, warned that AI risks becoming an instrument of domination, and urged developers to work for the common good rather than profit. The encyclical was signed exactly 135 years to the day after Pope Leo XIII's landmark labor document from the Industrial Revolution. The Vatican shared the stage with Anthropic for the presentation, a deliberate signal about which AI lab the Church now views as a credible safety partner.
Now to enterprise AI.
Anthropic on Monday introduced 28 new security and compliance integrations for Claude, the broadest enterprise governance expansion the company has shipped to date. The integrations span data loss prevention, identity, security operations, e-discovery, and observability, with partners including Cloudflare, CrowdStrike, Sierra, Datadog, Microsoft Purview, Netscope, Okta, Palo Alto Networks, Proofpoint, Rubrik, SailPoint, Wiz, and Zscaler. The push lets IT and security teams govern Claude with the same tools they already use for other applications, removing one of the last major friction points blocking deployment. Anthropic framed it as a structural step toward making Claude the default AI layer inside regulated enterprises.
Next, AI funding gets weirder.
An AI startup called Polsia announced Monday it raised $30 million at an implied valuation of $250 million. The twist is that Polsia has no hired employees. The platform is an autonomous AI system that plans, codes, markets, and manages companies on its own. The artificial intelligence itself reportedly handled the fundraising process, with the founder only appearing to sign the documents. Investors include Sound Ventures, True Ventures, Offline Ventures, Adjacent, Tecton, Drysdale, Vayner Fund, and a roster of angels. Polsia claims annualized revenue approaching $10 million. The deal split AI Twitter sharply between believers and skeptics calling it hype.
Now to autonomous driving.
Tesla senior staff engineer Yuntao Tsai went on record Monday confirming that xAI's Grok build has been used extensively in the development of both full self-driving and the upcoming Cybercab autonomous vehicle. It's the first time a named Tesla AI engineer has publicly described how deeply Grok is embedded in active vehicle software work. Grok already runs as a conversational assistant inside Tesla cars in the US, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. Elon Musk has signaled that Grok will soon take on parking maneuvers controlled by spoken instructions, which would mark its first direct influence over vehicle motion.
Now to crypto meets AI.
Bedrock unveiled BRClaw on Monday, an AI-powered on-chain analyst built to make complex DeFi yield strategies transparent and automated. BRClaw is positioned to help users understand risk and return profiles in real time, monitor open positions, and eventually auto-optimize strategy selection across protocols. The launch lands as AI agents that can transact independently, move from theory into mainstream financial infrastructure. Bedrock is betting that better tooling for retail and institutional yield seekers will drive deeper protocol engagement, more locked capital, and longer average holding periods. The team hinted that fee revenue or buybacks tied to BR token economics could follow if adoption grows.
Next, the IPO countdown.
OpenAI is preparing to file a confidential S-1 with the Securities and Exchange Commission as soon as this week, according to multiple reports surfacing Monday. The most likely public offering window is the fourth quarter of 2026 or early 2027, with bankers reportedly testing investor appetite at a valuation approaching $1 trillion. OpenAI's annualized revenue is currently above $25 billion. The filing would cap a remarkable corporate transformation from research nonprofit to capped profit company to public market giant. Sam Altman has so far declined to publicly confirm the S-1, but inside the company, the move is being treated as imminent.
Now follow the compute.
SpaceX's recently filed IPO prospectus discloses a $45 billion compute contract with Anthropic stretching through May 2029. The deal commits Anthropic to roughly $1.25 billion per month for access to SpaceX and xAI's Colossus supercomputing infrastructure in Memphis, Tennessee. That facility houses more than 220,000 NVIDIA GPUs with H100, H200, and next-generation GB200 accelerators. Anthropic has also expressed interest in working with SpaceX to develop compute capacity in orbit. The contract instantly makes SpaceX one of Anthropic's 5 major silicon partners, alongside NVIDIA, AWS Trainium, Google TPUs, and a pending Microsoft Maya 200 deal.
Now a coding model price war.
Cursor's promotional pricing for Composer 2.5 ends Monday, with standard rates kicking in Tuesday. The coding agent, built on the open weights of Moonshot's Kimi K 2.5, was trained on roughly 25 times more synthetic coding tasks than its predecessor. Cursor benchmarks claim near parity with Claude Opus 4.7 and GPT 5.5 on coding tasks. The kicker is the cost. Composer 2.5 lists at 50 cents per million input tokens and $2.50 per million output tokens. Anthropic's Opus charges $25 per million output. OpenAI charges $30. The economics are reshaping how startups choose a coding model.
Next, image generation gets cheaper.
Microsoft Foundry Labs released MAI Image 2 Efficient on Monday, a new text-to-image model engineered specifically for production workloads. The model shares the architecture of MAI Image 2, but is up to 22% faster and 4 times more efficient on GPU usage when normalized by latency. Microsoft says it outpaces leading text-to-image models by an average of 40% on production benchmarks. The target customers are e-commerce platforms, media companies, and marketing teams generating thousands of images per day for targeted ads, concept art, and mood boards. The release lands as AI image generation moves from novelty to operational infrastructure inside marketing departments.
Now to silicon.
AMD kicked off production this week of its 6th-generation EPYC server processors, codenamed Venice, built on TSMC's 2-nanometer process technology. It is the first high-performance computing product to enter manufacturing at the 2-nanometer node, a milestone for the entire industry. Venice is engineered specifically for AI inference and dense agentic workloads where memory bandwidth and energy efficiency dominate the design constraints. Hyperscaler customers are reportedly already placing volume orders. AMD's aggressive node leap is squeezing Intel and giving NVIDIA's MI455 Instinct accelerators a much stronger CPU companion inside data centers.
Now to consumer AI.
Google moved Gemini 3.5 Flash to general availability across the Gemini API, Google AI Studio, and Anti-Gravity 2.0, its agent-first development platform. The company said monthly active users of the Gemini app have grown from 400 million 1 year ago to more than 900 million today. Google is also now processing roughly 3.2 quadrillion tokens per month, a 7-fold increase year over year. Pricing for Gemini 3.5, Flash sits at $1.50 per million input tokens and $9 per million output, with a 1 million token context window. The model becomes the new default inside Google's AI mode search experience worldwide.
Finally, music meets AI.
Spotify and Universal Music Group are advancing a new artificial intelligence partnership that taps directly into UMG's catalog of existing artists who opt in. Spotify's co-chief executive previewed the deal Monday, describing it as a way to surface licensed, royalty-bearing AI-generated music experiences inside the streaming app without cannibalizing the work of human creators. The model represents a possible truce after 2 years of legal skirmishes between major labels and AI companies over training data. Other labels, including Warner and Sony, are watching closely. The structure could become the template for how AI and the music industry coexist commercially.
That's your briefing for Tuesday, May the 26th, 2026. For DX Today, stay curious.